The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Good morning, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here at 8 a.m. in the SWBC studio. I'm your host, Nicole Hutchison, alongside Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison. Ladies, it's time to wake up.
Wake
up!
You don't got to do it. Okay, y'all.
It's time to wake up.
I'm literally awake.
Are you?
I am. I'm.
Wake up! All right.
I feel awake, sister.
8 a.m. Wake up! Chris, let's go.
How do you match the tone like that? Come
I don't
on,
know.
pitch.
I think it's practice.
Come on, having an ear.
I practice every day. Shout out to y'all. All right, ladies. 53-man roster is complete. Was finalized yesterday at 3 p.m. Central Time. A lot of surprises, a lot of expectations of guys that we already expected to be on this roster. But just taking, a look at this roster, let's start with surprises first and then kind of work our way down. And I do want to pose the question after is, does this final roster meet Shoddy's compete everyday mantra? But let's start with the surprisers first. Christy?
Well, on defense, it's the rookie Zion Childress, and then Perrion Winfrey and James Houston. Winfrey and Houston weren't even on the roster at the start of training camp. Houston came in on a tryout with a couple of other defensive linemen and was signed. Childress was third on the depth chart, and then by the second to final week was getting some reps with the first team playing nickel in the slot at cornerback. And Perrion Winfrey was in the UFL. So another success story for Daryl Johnston and the folks of the UFL. That we've got a real pipeline working from UFL, formerly XFL, USFL, to the Cowboys. So let's see if he can have the same kind of success that Cavante Turpin has had.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is one of the first roster cuts that I've experienced that I just was like, all right. Like, I didn't have a lot of grievances about what went on. Like, might be a couple things I would change, but I'm sure that they have a plan for some of how they're executing things. But when you talk about a Zion Childress, for me, that might have been one of the biggest surprises, and that maybe the only thing that surprised me, because with this coaching staff, with this Philly game coming up, the nickel position being what it is, I was very on the fence on whether they were going to be comfortable putting a rook out there and letting them man, that spot. It's so much responsibility, so much communication. And so I was like, kind of on the fence. Like, are they going to choose Keemon Hall? We talked about it yesterday. Are they going to choose Keemon Hall over Zion? And listening to Shoddy, it sounds like they decided to go with the youth. And so it's a risk. But I feel like there has been times that I've experienced, like, talking and working for this team where I've been like, just throw them in the fire, see what happens.
And what's funny? I said this on the game broadcast last week about Zion, is that last year at Kentucky, his final year at Kentucky was his first time playing nickel corner the entire time. He told me that. He said that, originally, my coaches had me playing free safety because they do a lot of one single high safety looks at Kentucky. But he said he had that relationship with his coaches to where, he came to them and said, hey, just put me a nickel. Put me a nickel. See what happens. I promise you, I'm going to make plays. I like to be around the ball. That's where I thrive. And Shoddy talking about that, his instincts have jumped off the film since he got there. His physicality, his ability as a blitzer. They also, of course, shine a light on Keemon Hall, saying he's a fantastic player as well. But, when you're comparing two guys that are so close in play style, you always typically go with the younger guy. So I was shocked with, Shoddy actually going with that philosophy and trusting, like Aisha said, a rookie in doing so. But I think another shocker for me was Jalen Brooks. That was someone that, I feel like over the last couple of years has really stood out. And hello, Brianna Aldridge is here. Wake up, girl.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. fine. It's great. 7 a.m. I mean, 8 a.m. Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, Jalen Brooks, back to him. He's been making plays whenever he needs to. He caught a couple of deep touchdowns from Joe Milton, one in training camp, again last week, I believe, as well. So just talking about him, I was a little shocked with that one, but best of luck to him. Jalen Brooks has always been, a great player, special player, even better person. And so a lot to look forward to with what he has to come. What's y'all's thoughts about Deuce Vaughn and, them waiving him, and where does y'all kind of stand about this running back room?
I think that we were right on it yesterday when we said that it was going to be special teams that cost him the roster spot here. So, he just at the same time, you can say, well, you're not expecting Miles Sanders to play special teams either. But no, ultimately it came down to that, was how much he can contribute on special teams. And he was out there. I mean, they gave him, he was even the second team personal protector on punts. So he had opportunities at camp and in preseason to do some. But I think for the long haul of the season, they just decided to go a different direction. And he could clear waivers. 31 other teams decide not to sign him. He could decide to come back here and sign with a practice squad. So it's not necessarily over with Deuce with the Cowboys, but just for the 53-man roster for now.
All right, Bree, I posed the question of, do you feel like the final roster meets Shoddy's compete every day mantra? And your surprisers from the
I
roster.
should know the answer.
Well, first, sorry. So I'm a little late.
My bad.
Coming
Okay.
from Fort
It's
Worth.
fine. It's all good.
Woo! Okay. I would say, well, first of all, when I looked at who was released, waived, cut, nothing on there was surprising. I feel like everything that we talked about was pretty much right on base. And I know there's some people you want to hang on to when you're talking about the Trayshawn Holdens of the world that were like the camp favorites. But I don't think anyone that was released, it's as expected. Nothing's going to break or make the Dallas Cowboys going forward. I mean, that's just the nature of it. But I think it's everything that Schottenheimer said it was going to be. It was some of the rookies getting some spots that maybe surprised some. It was some veterans having to work for their spots. And nothing's guaranteed. They compete every day. When you're talking about the James Houstons of the world, I was very happy they found a spot for him. Phil Maffa, Jaden Blue, those things that were earned from what I saw going back to Oxnard. Surprises, I think we were talking about it. I was kind of getting the feeling about Izzy. I guess to me, if I want to say surprises, kind of shocked if they didn't find a spot just because they just paid him. Even though it was a ton of money, they did pay him back in March. And just the fact that he was a veteran in the group, he was playing some safety, he was playing some nickel. They were just trying some new things with him. So it just felt like they were making us somewhere for him to go. So I could think that was probably for me the biggest surprise, if you will. But the Awesome Richards wasn't. I feel like we saw him kind of, fading away, and glad he found a new home where it looks like they'll be able to utilize him more than he would have been here. But yeah, that's probably it for me.
And on the Mukwamu with that new deal, it was 1 year, $1.75 million with $500K guaranteed. So that $500,000 is going to be the dead money.
Okay.
You know what you can do with $500K?
I can do a lot. I can take a little vacation.
2.5 practice squad players.
Which room do y'all feel like is the deepest now?
Think wide receiver. And I tell you, the room that I thought was among the weakest last year, I feel really good about this year, and that's linebacker. Linebacker.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry if I stole
No, you're fine. You're
Nah,
right.
we
I knew
can
you were
agree.
going to go there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, when that was actually one of the easiest positions to when I was looking at it, I was like, that makes sense, that makes sense, that all makes sense, that makes sense. Let's move on. And that's not typically the case. Obviously, the defensive end room is a strong room as well, but
Once you get Micah back.
yeah, it's gonna be stronger. Yeah, of course. But I do think that linebacker room does make you feel a little bit more comfortable, even despite what's going on the defensive line. And then when you talk about the competition portion of it, Nicole, I wanted to definitely say that I thought that even the Awesome Richards trade shows some of the competition stuff because as soon as it was clear that Nate Thomas was gonna be able to man that left tackle spot, I think that's when things kind of got a little sticky with Awesome. And then after that, you saw them kind of using him in the jumbo packages, trying to figure out somewhere for him to be. I think Nate Thomas just came in and competed like we were talking about, Nicole. And that is what I took away from the cuts. That's what I took away from the cuts was they're serious about you competing for your spot. It doesn't matter how young you are. If they believe that you performed better, because I felt like with Perrion, the film was undeniable. So to see that he made this roster, to see that Childress made the roster, to see Houston who worked his tail off, and then there were guys that have been here like Tyrus Wheat. There were other gentlemen that have been here that could have had those spots, and he just worked his tail off. So I was happy that what they're echoing, as a coaching staff, to me showed up in this, and I think that's why I didn't really have that many complaints about how they did things.
But are there still a couple of
baby, yes.
See, because I think that when we say the final roster, the complete roster.
Oh, this ain't it.
It. I mean,
fun part.
for the next 10 hours.
No. We are very well aware. I just for the folks out there, let me make sure this is not the completed roster, but as it stands right now, what you have in house, I think you made some good decisions, some risque ones, but we're gonna see how they work out.
Yeah.
That's very true.
When you say risque, I think of the cornerback group.
That nugget
Specifically.
you asking a lot of that nugget.
Stacked up defensive end. That's the first thing that came to mind. I think the quality, versatility. You have proven production. That's the big one. It's proven talent. It's not a bunch of question marks and unknowns like some of the other groups. Maybe a little risque. I think it's the less risque. And of course, when Michael Parsons come back, I'll be very, very happy to see what happens in that group. But I think even though I'm not saying it's good without Micah, but I'm saying that I feel like some stability there and some confidence, even though Micah isn't contract situations.
Well, let me ask y'all something now, since we're on the defensive line. Hello. Topic. How much does Micah's status kind of shift the defense's ceiling early on with guys like obviously Donovan Ezraku, the improvement of Marshawn Nealon, Dante Fowler? Hello. Just talk about how much, like I just asked, does his status shift the defense's ceiling early on with the personnel they have?
Well, I think Christy made a really good point yesterday about the fact that that's why they kept a guy like James Houston. That's why I think about, like you mentioned, I think guys like Fowler being in makes a difference. But if what I think they're trying to do defensively is what they're trying to do defensively, and talking to some of the guys at training camp, they're going to be trying to create one-on-ones on this defensive line. They are going to try to have different fronts and different personnel groupings to get favorable matchups for some of these pass rushers. And for me, I do feel like not having Micah Parsons out there changes the dynamic or kind of how your defense feels because of the attention he draws. There is nothing, like in practice, Donovan Ezraku, I think, is going to be a ball player. But he's not Micah. It doesn't matter. And so I do think that is something that is going to make a difference early on. And furthermore, if this team wants to turn the ball over the way that it sounds like they want to, I think this team also understands that their offense, defensively, I think their offense is going to be able to put up points. I think that's something that they're serious about. Wanting to score, hit people in the mouth, be explosive when they need to. And you need to be able to capitalize after all. You have to be able to force those turnovers. And I think pass rush is a huge part of that. It's going to help out that secondary. If you got a Childress in there, people like Micah speed up that clock. So I do think he is a guy you have to plan for on that defensive line. And I think any other guy right now might have to earn that differently until he is present. And that's the thing that changes things for me is one-on-ones, favorable matchups, and guys having to help out, like the chip in and stuff like that. Are they going to do that as much? What are we going to see?
No.
Are they going to do that as much? Are they going to double team as much? Are they going to, Micah takes tight ends out of games because they have to help out over there. Who's going to step up in that meantime to have that type of respect to help out some of the guys to find favorable matchups? And maybe Flus is going to do some things on the back end too. So that's just where I'm at with it, ladies. I don't know. I don't like it.
I feel like last year, it's the beginning with Mike Zimmer and what I was hearing from a lot of the players, this wasn't I think the difference between Zimmer and Eberflus is the simplicity of it, if you will. A lot of the guys saying that's very clear on what their assignment is, what their role is, and obviously, like Aisha mentioned, they've been hitting on the takeaways and what their goals are. But I think with Micah, this defense is around him, so I think that's the frustration part.
Yes.
Is you're figuring stuff out, and yes, like we were talking about it the other day. At CBS about how Micah is that type of player where he could just go in and do all these things. But like Christy mentioned, there's different there's football conditioning and then there's regular conditioning, right? Like it's gonna, regardless of who the superstar is, it's gonna take time. But to me, when I look at Micah and what he's able to do and the ground he's able to cover, it's like having two people on the field. He's 2 for 1 is basically what it is. So it's going to be some other people stepping in some different roles. Interested to see who that leadership role. I think the group that they have, like I said, a lot of confidence, but there is no other Michael Parsons on this team.
Absolutely. Chrissy?
Yeah, and to the point of the takeaways, it's how they affect the quarterback with that pass rush, to Aisha's point, and it's a great one. And so when you look, and I think we would all say that our biggest concern on defense is just really more the health status of the cornerbacks. So the best friend for a cornerback is a good pass rush and affecting the pass rusher. And then the other thing is with the run game, right? Your run defense, defensive tackles. Are we feeling 100% about that?
What'd you say?
Stop.
What'd you say?
Stop it.
It's too early.
That's funny that we're talking about Micah Parsons and
I know, I'm like, is that
literally playing on Good Morning Football. I think that's pretty dope. Wow.
Oh,
Perfect
God.
timing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Keep
No,
going,
it's just, and again, hey, hopefully he gets the extension.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets some plays out there. But even if that were to be done today or this week,
Yeah.
Like Brianna, we were just saying, repeating from yesterday, I don't think you can throw him out there for 40-something plays, Just give him more limited reps and let him affect the game that way.
Yeah, well, that's what Shotty said, that he'll have a ramp-up period, but they want him back on the field as soon as possible.
And even just having him available, knowing even if it's going to be 10, 15, 20 plays, that affects what the Eagles are going to do because they're going to have to plan for that.
If he's out there if he's out there for decoration,
A little decoy.
fine.
Sprinkle it.
Just keep pointing.
If that's what he's out there for. But I do think, I agree, it is going to, like I said, I think signing a guy like James Houston that can create his own pass rush, very important. Dante Fowler, very important. Oso Digizua getting his deal, very important. You're going to need guys that can get after it. And also, too, if I'm looking at, I ain't looking too far ahead, but if I'm looking at Philly, they got a guard that's slow-footed, and then they got Landon Dickerson that they don't know if they're going to get back in time. There will be areas on that offensive line that you could take advantage of. You would love to have 11 out there for that.
Let's talk about this defensive tackle room, though. Y'all satisfied?
Is anybody?
It's going to be, how Randy Jackson say, it's going to be enough for me.
It's going to be enough for me, dog.
Can you grow up
Compared
today?
to this time last year,
Today.
I feel so much better than defensive tackle last year. Remember,
I mean,
where
yeah, I feel a
they
little
added
better.
like 5 different guys
Yeah.
during training camp. They were recycling a bunch of veterans coming in. I
feel a tad better, but no, it's just, I don't know. Like, I think bringing Perrion Winfrey, him earning his spot, his story, having to bounce back, having to show some resilience in what he's gone through, and having to go through, the way he went through the UFL and built himself up here. He has a very unique skill set, and so I am happy that he is here. I think he's a guy that can help you, but you are really lighting the butt on the interior. And what I mean by that is that it's weird because we have seen schemes in the NFL. You've seen schemes here in Rob Marinelli's scheme. Like, we've seen teams that have defensive tackles that are not this big, heavy, unmovable object. So I understand that it can work in what they're trying to do. They're going to ask a lot of their linebackers. It's going to ask a lot of your safeties. And it's possible. But the attention to detail and how sound you have to be is gonna ask a lot of the front seven as a whole. And I just want somebody we can put in there so you could cheat a little bit sometimes. Because if you do have a guy that is kind of a space eater and maybe you miss your gap, maybe he can help you out a little bit more because he does warrant a double team. If none of your defensive tackles warrant a double team at no point in time, pray Saints.
Yeah.
And so I see what Flus is doing. He working with what he got. I see what he's doing. I see schematically kind of what he's thinking, and talking to the guys, it feels like they understand, like, we're going to have to win with different alignments. We're going to have to win with, like, funneling to the linebackers. We're going to have to win with sound gap integrity and being able to fill with certainty. But they got to be on their P's and Q's every week, and I just feel like that's a lot. Go get me a space eater and cheat. Please cheat a little bit. It's all right to cheat a little bit if you can. So I'm excited about the 3 techs, and then I'm like still scared about the 3 techs.
Should we call it a work in progress? It's just to,
It's something.
the interior of the line. No,
I trust
No, it's good to have a Solomon Thomas. I mean, that was such a really good signing,
Y'all trust. I trust Eberflus. His track record is his track record.
Yeah, and Coach White-Cotton.
And of course, Coach White-Cotton. I trust. Obviously, Eberflus is over. Like what's going on. I trust. They're gonna turn the ball over and they're gonna stop the run. How long is it going to take for them to, like, get it, though? Because we do know there's a learning curve with the system. And the team you about to play on week 1, it took them about half the season to get Fangio's system. Yeah. And so it's like, let's see where the learning curve is. What y'all got, ladies?
I was about to take our first break because we got to take our first break. But the learning curve continues too on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to break down the running backs up next here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for us. If the men in your life bleed blue and silver like we do, I've found the perfect way to elevate their game day rituals. Gillette just released their best razor in Cowboys colors, and it is everything a Cowboys fan could want. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor combines his Cowboys pride with Gillette's best shave. And with 50% longer lasting blades, it is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's best shave is also available as heated.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
The IndyCar Grand Prix of Arlington is coming March 13th through 15th, 2026. Gear up for a full weekend of world-class racing and entertainment through the streets of Arlington. Tickets are available right now at SeatGeek.com.
Beat up on Philly. Yeah. We're going to beat up on Philly. Then we're going to beat up on the Giants.
He agree with you.
Boy, please, there we go. Beat up on the Bears. You going on the right. Yeah, that's going to be the word. That's going to be the word right there. Then we're going to beat up on them Packers. You know we ain't never rock with our cheese heads.
Cowboys defensive tackle Perrion Winfrey talk about we gonna beat up on them Bears. We gonna beat up on Philly. We gonna beat up on them Giants with his little human. That's so adorable. Welcome back into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. I mean, you gotta love moments like that. You know, Schottenheimer also talking about it yesterday. You know, he had some hard conversations, but he has some really good ones as well. Perrion Winfrey, ladies being one of them. Christy?
Yeah, just Shoddy saying that he teared up because Perrion was tearing up, and they brought it. Usually, if you get called to the head coach's office on cut down day, you're assuming that you're getting cut.
Yeah.
And Shoddy knew that Perrion would be thinking that he's coming, but he wanted to be able to tell him face to face that he had made the team. And this is a young man who's had a circuitous journey to the NFL, to the Cowboys, and a kid from Illinois who didn't academically qualify, and had to go the junior college route before getting to major college football, and then Oklahoma, and then drafted by Cleveland in the 4th round, and got waived 2023, and some off-the-field issues with Cleveland, and then to the Jets, out of the NFL, then to the UFL, Birmingham, made all UFL, and then to Cowboys camp. And you can see he has a lovely family. Yeah. And these are the guys that come back after making a mistake, and as Shoddy said, they appreciate it more because they know that they nearly lost it, right? Yeah. They nearly lost their opportunity, and so it means even more to them.
Wow. Yeah. Are you
Are you crying?
Huh? No, I'm saying no. First of all, the kid is. No, I'm laughing. I don't, y'all. I was trying not to laugh because I know it's very serious, but I was just thinking about the fact that like the Cowboys have a tendency to do this, and then I was thinking, what's that channel that we have in the Christmas movies?
Hallmark channel. Hallmark channel with all the Christmas movies.
Lifetime too. No, that's what I first thought about. And I said, they just.
Well, this is when Perrion put out himself, though, right?
No, and I agree, but I just feel like this isn't the first time. Yeah. This isn't the first time that the Cowboys have found a player that has this amount of talent that maybe just hasn't felt right for them. They've had things happen, and they pour into them, and then you see, the results. So for me, I mean, it takes a lot. Like,
yeah. It's Cavante Turpin.
Yeah, that's what I was about to think about.
Yeah, with the
even Aubrey and his story. It's not a traditional story. Is what I mean. It's that there's some uncertainty in these stories, and then these guys get here, and you see them perform, you see them play. And like with Perrion, I really do believe it was very evident, very clear. Like, oh, this guy has something special. So then I went to look at some of his college tape, and you see the length, you see how he extends, you see how he moves people off the ball, and how quick he can be actually too for some of those centers. I think his skill set is needed, especially in this NFL. But I think his skill set is specifically needed for this defense right now. Mm-hmm. And he's a scheme fit. He fits really what Eberflus was looking for. So him making the team only made sense to me. I think he makes you better right now, and good for him.
Yeah, I saw it last night. I'm glad you guys
that laugh is
show
so
that.
cute.
Everything about it is cute. Personally, as a journalist, as a storyteller, I hang my hat on showing athletes what you don't see off the field. So I think that's why that touches me so much. And as a former 2-year community college gal myself, like all that hits home, and I think everybody at this table has a story, right? We've all been the underdog at some point. We've all overcame stuff. So he's just someone that I feel like I'm so happy it worked out, because I remember talking to somebody, a veteran at camp, and he says, my job is to remind the guys that they're fighting for their football lives. They're not fighting for their lives. And I feel like maybe Perrion Winfrey felt like he was fighting for his actual life a little bit. So very, very happy to see him, and obviously earned it. So
you guys talk about Perrion, who fits the scheme of other guys on the offensive side of the ball that fits this offensive scheme that they have selected is Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, of course Phil Maffa as well. But talking about those three guys, what does that say about Shoddy's offensive vision, and what kind of approach do you feel like they're going to make in terms of this committee approach or are they expecting one guy to eventually emerge as running back one? And Christy,
Well, don't you think that they want they'd love for one to emerge? They'd love for Javonte Williams to emerge as the main guy, right? But they've got if they need to, they could do committee. But I don't know. I think that running back is kind of like quarterbacks. If you say you have two quarterbacks, you know, then you don't have just the one lead dog, right? So I would love to have the lead dog and then the other guys be able to contribute. So I think Maffa, he's still, because he was on the 53-man, they can go ahead and move him to IR, and that opens a roster spot that you can use for if you bring back a Will Greer or sign a C.J. Goodwin kind of thing. But I really don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm just hoping that Javonte, the main thing is you have to have enough of a run game that the defense has to respect it, so it sets up your play action pass.
Absolutely. And I can tell that that's a lot of what they want to do. Like they definitely want to lean on the play action game. They definitely want to do boots and waggles and stuff like that, and stuff that really combines the passing game with the running game. But as far as the running back room, I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't know nothing about nothing. Only person I know anything about for real is Hunter Lipke. And so we had a wait and see type of standstill. Now what I will say is that what I do know about the run scheme from what I've seen from Clayton Adams and Connor Riley and the way that they schematically do things and the way that Cooper Beebe said that schematically some of the things that they're doing are similar to what he was doing at Kansas State. Like, okay, I can get an idea of that. Cool. I will say that I think not special teams. I will say that I think preseason does show you. It don't show you nothing, but it will show you little bits and pieces of some of the things that the coaches are harping on. Some of the things that they are really trying to get these guys to do at a high level. And I felt like the double teams and some of the things that they did in the run game consistently. You saw that in preseason from the twos, and I felt like that was encouraging for me because I'm like, if the twos are doing it and they have an understanding of it and we're seeing them be able to work together and move people off the ball, I expect that from the ones. So I will say I think that the run game is going to be more creative in how they scheme guys open. I think that the running backs will be involved in the receiving game to an extent. I think you'll be multiple in the sense of CeeDee Lamb, Turpin, those guys getting opportunities and stuff like that. Pass pro is going to be important. All that stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a versatile run game. I just have no idea. Schematically, I just don't know what it's going to look like. I think they're going to be able to block it up over as the season goes on. Which runner takes advantage of those? Which runners take advantage of that situation? I don't know yet because we haven't seen Javonte. We saw very little from Miles Sanders. We've seen Jadon Blue to an extent. Sounds like he's going to be ready to go. That's good. But I'm still keeping an eye on his ankle. It's just kind of a lot of wait and see, sisters.
Yeah, because really the only action we saw with Javonte and really first-team run game was the Rams joint practice, and it was awful.
Yeah.
the Rams.
I was unwell.
Yeah, the Rams defense was better on the line.
Yeah, and he was the only one that there was a couple of times where they just had some swing passes to him, and you could see him be a little bit more physical because they were thumping out there. And he was like, okay, I'm going to match your energy a little bit. But he's a difficult guy to get a grasp on when you can't tackle because that is what makes him who he is.
Yeah.
He also is a receiving threat as a running back as well, and they not showing none of that.
Yeah.
So we ain't seen nothing, girl. What you think?
I fear I'm going to be saying what I was saying a lot last year, running back by committee. But I will say I have a little more faith in this running back by committee because I felt like we were forced to say that last year because there wasn't a true running back one. And like Christy was saying, we don't really know what Javonte Williams is going to be. It's pretty clear that that's who they feel like is their RB1. But I think when you look at all three backs that they kept, like, you know, we know Javonte Williams is that physical back, right? I look at him like a power inside zone run type of guy.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we have, you know, Sanders, who I feel like he, in my opinion, is, and what I was seeing, even going back to OTAs, will be the one more who gets involved in that passing game, if you will. And then Jadon Blue, I knew he was making this team because he brings something different than both those. He's that more explosive guy who brings and can change the pace of the game. So I do think it's going to be a running back by committee type of approach. I just have more faith in this group and the coaches they brought in to make it a little more successful than what we saw last year. Do I think it's going to happen right away? No, because I'm remembering what Chrissy was talking about with that joint practice. It was very much scary stuff happening. But I think once they get in the flow of things, I think those 3 things that I mentioned with each of those backs do's. And then it also depends if they can stay healthy. Like Miles Sanders has not been healthy. So I think for me, when I was making my running back list, and at that time Phil Maffa was healthy, I didn't know if Miles Sanders was going to hang just because I just felt like he was the kind of the question mark. Yes, he's the veteran, but it's clear they're going with the veterans in this group and that little spice that blue brings, and then we'll see what happens when.
I think for me, it's more so like how long is it going to take for us to figure it out if we are going to be a running back by committee approach, or if you're going to go with just one guy as the lead back. And that's, unfortunate because you did see Miles Sanders in the preseason a little bit. You didn't get a chance to see Javonte Williams in the preseason, but you saw the other guys. How long do y'all feel like it will take for those guys to kind of the coaching staff to kind of figure that out? Aisha?
I guess it depends. Just because I think as a whole, again, this is a new scheme. This is a new feel. I do think with the run game in particular, the offensive line, it's going to take them time to gel, especially since you're not even sure, hoping you get gotten back for week 1. We don't know for sure yet in those things. So I do think as a whole that unit's going to take some time to mesh, and that's going to affect what your runners look like. And then also, too, what does the situation call for? Because, baby, when you going up there against Philly, if that's what you want, if you want to bang your head against the wall, I think you need to run situationally. But their secondary has things that you can take advantage of. So I do think it depends situationally. But when the run game in itself, how long is it going to take? I hope it don't take to mid-season. Yeah. I can say that. I hope that we're not sitting here looking around like Jadon Blue's clearly the fresher legs or whatever the case may be. And I do think that has something to do with what they chose to do with Phil Maffa. Hey, listen, y'all got about 4 weeks to figure out what y'all got going on. Or else. So anyway, I do think I don't want it to take forever. I feel like, and I think a little bit, we should feel a little better with what happened with the roster as of right now, because that lets you know that it don't take forever. Like Zion Childress emerged through the latter part.
Exactly.
Who's the other gentleman? Flanoy emerged through the latter part, consistent through camp, but that latter part is what really pushed him through. And I think the coaches saw that and they responded to that. So hopefully that makes y'all feel a little bit better. It made me feel a little bit better. Like maybe it ain't gonna take forever because you ain't got time for forever. Yeah. You need a run game.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how much they do the formation where you put Hunter Lipke back there truly as a fullback. How much are we going to see 21? That's a formation. 21 means you have 2 running back, a fullback and a running back, and just 1 tight end. Cowboys and most teams usually are in a 12, just 1 person in the backfield, 2 tight ends. But I'm just... But see, it's going to change week to week. That's the thing. Yeah. There's so many weapons on this offense, and you have so many guys who are versatile that truly, week to week, it can change based on the chess match with the other defense.
Yeah. Good. And I think what's happening now with this offense, like, really the run game just needs to start off serviceable.
Please.
Right. Because the passing game is supposed to be what their spark is. So if you just can get it going. Yeah. Let the offense, what I'm thinking this identity of this offense can be, a Bengals team, but that can run the ball is basically how I'm looking at this offense. And then I think as the season goes, like I said, mid-season, maybe it starts to look a little more spicy, right? Because they're getting that continuity. The O-line I'm putting in the air stays healthy, and just lean on your passing game and let the magic work. And then I think it all tries to transcend. But if it starts off rocky, getting stuff to the run, can't stay healthy, and then I think that's when you start to run into issues.
All right, well, we're going to take our second break. And next, we're going to dive into who could be some possible practice squad reunions here in Dallas. We're going to take our second break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk and be right back.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Stay game day ready with official Dallas Cowboys gear. Shop from brands like New Era, Nike, Game Day Couture, Mitchell & Ness, and more. Visit a pro shop near you or log on to shop.dallas.com and Fanatics Experience. Boom, get your gear.
Wake up! Let's go.
Chris,
Here, wake up, y'all.
what has she done to you?
No, I don't know. It's kind of sick. All right. Welcome back into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. And we are wrapping up the show with Christy. I'm going to you. Who could be some guys that the Cowboys bring back on?
Oh, there's so many.
Oh, yeah.
So many. So little time. I think your two undrafted guys from Syracuse, Elijah Clark and Justin Barron. So there's a safety and a linebacker. I think they try and bring back Mike Smith as well at safety. Jalen Brooks and Trayshawn Holden, if Brooks is able to clear waivers. Same thing with Holden. Princeton Fant, Rivaldo Fairweather. And then you're going to have Denzel Daxon, the defensive tackle, through the International Player Pathway Program. So the Cowboys will be able to have 17 players instead of 16. So look for Denzel to be back. And then in terms of the guys who were released, the older veterans, I think Keemon Hall, we agree on Keemon if he slides through. Buddy Johnson, because he can be one of these key special teams guys, and depth at linebacker if you need it there. And in regards to C.J. Goodwin, I think it's going to be signed to the 53-man once they make some IR moves. And Hakeem Adeniji.
I was about to say, that's the one.
Adeniji may be 53-man instead of practice squad, but I think he's your swing tackle.
I agree.
And then Ernest Brown, if he's not on the signed to the 53, if you're able to get him on practice squad, but you may have to get him on your 53. So
that's what I was saying. I'm thinking if they on the phone, they might find someone that they think might be better suited. Even though I know they were high on Ernest Brown.
Sure,
I know that was someone that they,
yeah. And then one question with Will Greer: do you do practice squad and have him as that, or do you bring him on your 53-man roster, or do y'all think that the third quarterback comes from a different team?
That's a good question.
I think, but who's out there? Who's available right now?
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's the biggest
They was
question.
doing so many swaps the other day with all the backup QBs.
I think it's going to be Greer, but the question is
who really
is
makes
whether
you
you do
better?
53-man or practice squad.
It depends. It might depend on how many.
But the main thing about the practice squad is so you'll Cowboys can have 17 because of Denzel Daxon being an international player. He's from the Bahamas, by the way. So week to week, you can elevate 2 players. So you're going to have this long list of players, and then each game you can decide to make 2 available for that game day. But once a player has been elevated throughout the season 3 times, that's the most he can be elevated. If you needed him to play more than that, you would have to sign him to your 53-man roster.
Yeah, I think it also depends on, because Shadi also talked about, they're not done yet. So who they bring in, how they prioritize.
Yeah, you're going to bring in practice squad guys for your practice squad that were cut by other NFL teams.
Yeah, we might see guys like that's the thing about this time. And I think that's kind of I'm not sure if it has any validity, but the big cut must be really good or really bad for teams. Like the way that they do it now, it has to be probably stressful for some of the scouts because it's so much going on. But I do think that there probably is guys that get lost in the shuffle and stuff like that, or like you can navigate it a little bit better than it with it being one big cut. But yeah, I want to see if they are going to be aggressive, which I think, and they typically are, with trying to get some guys signed during this time. So there might be some gentlemen that we think might be on the practice squad that they might think that there's another guy that's better suited for that spot. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I have Deuce Vaughn on my list as well. I don't remember if I mentioned him, so we'll see.
The Deuce. No, I think I agree with you guys. I feel like to me, my gut is telling me Will Greer will be on the practice squad. That's just the feeling I have. I think they're selling the Joe Milton confidence, and that's just how I feel like it's gonna go. Just gonna be simple. Will Greer on the practice squad. Joe Milton's our due if anything goes wrong.
Well, time will tell. Hours? How many hours you got left? Like 10? No.
So many days, so many hours.
24?
Well, yeah, there's
my math is a little bad.
24 hours to clear waivers, and then once players clear waivers, then they can sign with whomever they want to sign. So we'll start knowing
That's 3
tomorrow.
p.m. today.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
3 p.m.
The math is mathing.
Math wasn't mathing, ladies.
It's, my brain.
Yeah. Well, the math is mathing for countdown for Philly next Thursday. Gonna be a lot of fun. But the ladies are back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Make sure to wake up with us because you won't forget it. For Brianna Aldridge, for Chrissy Scales, for Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Wake up!
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!